Hey guys, this is sruthychakravarthi. Gen Z, the most misunderstood generation, the generation in the age group of 11 to 26, which we normally come across being called as lazy generation, entitled generation, impulsive generation, or normally younger generation. Already 75% managers today have already declared Gen Z as the most difficult generation to work with, and they would think twice before hiring them. They even call them as untrainable. Yes, they are always stressed out, they are easily burnt out, they are obsessed with the technology, they are impulsive, they want instant gratification, they do not wait for the results, they just want the things to be done now and they want the results immediately. Most importantly, they are always worried about money. Before blaming them for everything, are we ready to take the accountability and responsibility for our contribution towards this generation? We need to look back and think forward. We need to rectify our mistakes, at least for the next coming generations. So what mistake did I do? First of all, they are stressed out because we have created a society which is not safe for young men and women. We created unstable families. They cannot rely upon their parents for their problems. Hence, they are depending on their friends who are of the equal age group and they don't know anything better than them. So they are discussing within themselves, they are doing the best they can do. But sometimes experience comes in handy. So you creating a situation where they cannot rely upon you to discuss their problems. They cannot go through the solution without you saying, I told you so, is stressful. Now in a situation where they are trying to figure everything out by themselves because they cannot rely upon you. If they come to you with a problem, you are using it as a way to show your authority, where you are trying to show how better you are as a person than them. So we all know that as teenagers, we all made some mistakes, we don't know everything, and we depended on our parents to help us. But you are creating a scenario where your first reaction is blaming them for the mistake. That if you don't do so, the blame will be on your parenting skills. So instead what you are doing, you are blaming your kids. So it is obvious that they are always burnt out because they are trying to figure everything by themselves. And pandemic, the recent corona pandemic has created a situation which is out of everyone's hands. They have seen their parents who are well settled, who are satisfying their needs, who are self-sufficient. But after pandemic, they have seen them falling into the poverty lines. So from becoming a secure kid and a stable child, they started panicking about money. Because of this, you can see them googling for ways to make easy money, quick money, and they are already looking for jobs. They are already worried about their careers. They're worried about inflation, and those who are already earning, who are teenagers and who are in the working population, they are worried that they couldn't leave their parents' home because they couldn't afford with this inflation and amounts, and also they are worried that they might never be able to buy a house for themselves and move out. Obsession with technology is another problem they are facing, and can you blame them? See, when your parents couldn't satisfy your needs as a child, they tried to compensate it with their presence. They started taking care of you, they started pampering you personally, they started giving you the knowledge that they have earned, they have started telling you the stories. They spent more time with you to compensate for their lack of affordability for your needs and wants. But what we are doing is, we are compensating the need for our presence as parents with our affordability. So we are giving them easy money, we are giving them access to the technology, and we are satisfying their wants rather than their needs with our ability to afford. This in turn is making them self-centered, obsessed with technology, and non-negotiable. The problem the managers are facing is it is very hard to negotiate with them because they don't want to compromise. From childhood onwards, you are giving them everything they want and need without questioning and without giving them a proper reason why they are getting this and why they are not getting something they asked for. So this is creating a generation which is not ready to compromise. And our final problem is the impulsiveness. They do not want to wait for anything. They want instant gratification. They don't know the value of delayed gratification. The gratification where you wait today for a better tomorrow. They want everything done now, and we cannot even blame them because they have seen the pandemic, they have seen a lot of natural disasters, they have seen a lot of economic instability, and because of this it is obvious they do not have a hope for the future. And this is also a result due to their spiritual ignorance. So in a country like India, if children and the teenagers are lacking spirituality, the parents are the ones to be blamed. We need to agree, we need to take accountability for that. Because we have our grandfathers teaching us lots of things spiritually. We believed in something bigger. So we started planning for something bigger. And we have tried to compensate our presence with technology. And one thing that technology doesn't care about your children is about their spiritual side. It gives them what they want. It gives them what it wants, the technology wants. They are the target audience for lots of companies. They are not people anymore. They are the target. So in a world where the children, the teenagers, the working population are considered as assets for a business, if you don't introduce them to spirituality, if you don't introduce them to their spiritual side, how do you think are they going to cope up? Of course they are always anxious, of course they are depressed because they don't believe in anything bigger. They don't believe in anything that they don't see. We as Indian parents should be especially ashamed if our kids do not have any spiritual knowledge. See, I am not talking about the religions. Most of the Hindu literature discusses about the spirituality. It doesn't talk about the religion. It doesn't talk about the God. It doesn't ask you to believe anything. It gives you the reason, it gives you the logic behind the belief. So, if you are not aware of those scriptures, literatures yourself, how are you going to teach your kids? You cannot expect them to Google about the literatures or the spirituality on the internet. They are teenagers. So biologically they are supposed to be impulsive. But to bring that impulsive down a notch, you have to introduce them with their spirituality. So everything you have been doing so far, please introduce them with their spiritual side. Please help them explore their spirituality. Do not rely on technology to take care of your children or teenagers. If you do not have time yourselves, try to join them in some institute where they learn some art, music, or the place where they could teach them their spirituality. Do not let them be addicted to the technology or be obsessed with the technology. Yes, it is hard to separate the kids from the technology, but it is not impossible. Just like you are giving time for them to study, give them some screen time. And before introducing them to social media, make sure that they are confident with themselves, because there are so many hecklers, predators, molesters, and pedophiles on the internet, and they are going to affect their confidence, their sense of self, once they enter the social media through their comments. So make sure that your child is confident within themselves before you introduce them to the social media. And try to make sure that they are having so many activities offline that they don't have time for the online. Taking these few steps could help the future generations. Now that we already have a generation which we deny to take responsibility and blame the generation for everything that is happening within their lives, it is time we start taking responsibility, at least for the coming generation. And remember, if you have any problem teaching them any Hindu scriptures or literatures, at least introduce them to some philosophical notes like Socrates or Plato. There are so many other options also. You just need to introduce them to some spiritual side and help them explore it. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And if you have any other questions, you can write it down in the comment box or write to me to my Gmail, which I will drop in the description below. Thank you.